Okay. We're resuming the meeting, so where were we at here?
Training.
Training.
It's on training.
Okay, do any other board members have any ideas or how we're going to go forward on this? We've got to move forward.
So when I was trying to get to that nearly 5 million mark, I started on the B budget and went up.
Mm-hmm.
I went backwards
Okay.
to make as many cuts as we could down here so it didn't affect personnel up here. The
Okay.
least amount is what I did.
Okay.
So basically we're at the haves, have-nots. What can we do through all the stuff, I guess you could say? So it's not affecting the
Yeah, I think the difficulty is we're struggling enough to stay within expenses the way we're operating right now. If you look at from 2022 to now in expenses, we've already cut about $70,000 from expenses, and that's without raising overall expenses in 3 years now, and inflation and everything is catching up. Like if we just keep trying to trim the fat, there isn't any fat left.
kind of like over here.
Yeah.
It's running lean.
Yeah. And what we're literally getting to now where we're not going to be able to provide the general training and stuff that we need for our deputies. And you got to look at it like every time you cut a little bit here or there, how am I impacting the overall liability and the quality of deputy we're putting out there? And it starts getting significant if we keep trimming further.
I think maybe even bringing iCrimp in on this, like, would this be used against us with us knowing the issues we're having as far as possible lawsuits and stuff, and then in response, I mean, that can be used against us as a county.
Well, we're still looking for a bottom line.
But, excuse me. Go ahead. I apologize.
No, that's okay. And I don't see how we can cut training without the issue of the liability. I suggest we agree on a number right now and move forward to the end and get to the bottom line. But
Okay. I would entertain it, but what an amount, just so that we can
30,000. We set at 30.
Okay.
Okay.
And then we'll just move down further.
Yeah.
Agree with that, Sheriff?
What did you say?
30. Training. Keep up 20. Go to 30.
No weapons in
That would be just. We're pretty darn close to that.
weapons and ammunition. And so they were cut a little bit. Now I just had a question of weapons and ammunition.
Yeah.
Because I know when you have firearms coming in, like from different busts and everything, as long as it's not a stolen weapon or a used in a murder, you guys can take those. And do you guys still trade them in for ammunition at?
Yeah, we do some. We only do it maybe once every couple of years when we get enough guns.
Okay.
And then we get a store credit. So we still do that, but it's just been a few years. Or we'll trade them for maybe get a new Glock or something, replace some of the older weapons or rifles.
Any weapons that are seized anyway, they have to sit for quite a while until the court system is.
Yeah, then you bring it to the judge, and you can ask the judge to release the certain amount.
Well, it depends. So like if it's a court case that we're waiting on, you have to wait for the case to be adjudicated
Yeah.
before anything can happen, and
Yeah.
that can take a long time sometimes. So that's why we don't do it every year. It just kind of depends on the
Okay,
accumulation of the
okay,
weapons over time.
okay,
But the majority of this is ammunition for training.
okay.
That's the majority of what I use it for.
And so I'm gonna probably make the clerk mad,
Mhm.
and maybe even you guys, but I would like to see weapons one and ammunition another. So you can kind of keep track, you know what I mean, a little
Yep.
bit better.
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
agree.
I think that's
Yeah,
a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that way we kind of start getting those averages too on your ammunition versus your weapons
Yeah.
through
That would be,
budget years.
okay,
Yeah, I think like that year we had 14,000. We purchased a bunch of rifles and handguns. I think that year, but
Okay.
we think we did a trade in that year too, and
okay,
I think that's the year we got the new Glocks. I can't remember,
okay.
but yeah, 5,000.
It's just not enough.
No, we're doing an ammo order right now. We're staying within the 10,000, but and that's one of the huge things we did that was horrible, like horrible to our employees for years and years and years, is you literally put a gun in their hand and you don't train them. And you tell them they got to go out there and make life or death decisions and shoot accurately and do all this, and we would get like one range day a year for 4 hours. And we
We don't do that.
yeah, I went to become the firearms instructor like 3-4 years ago, and they just hit on it so hard. Like, you got to get your guys out to the range and train them. They're carrying a deadly weapon every day that is part of they're supposed to be trained professionals. So
And what type of ammunition? So you probably get
9
some for
millimeter.
training
Yeah, we
and
have
some-
training and duty
Yeah,
ammunition,
Okay.
9mm and AR. Few guys have shotguns. They mainly use those to dispatch deer and that kind of stuff, but
Could you get by with less than 10,000 right now, or is
I think if we're gonna cut, training is not the area we should be cutting.
Mhm.
I understand that?
That's we're just repeating the sins of people before us of doing the same thing. And
You're cutting the
This-
high liability areas. It's a dangerous thing to do.
If we have any bad shoots, anything like that, to where we're in court as a county, I can't imagine they won't bring that decision in.
So do you have the new number for your weapons and ammunition compared to what we have in front of us?
I still have 6750. We just
Okay.
did an order for 3,000 rounds of handgun and like 2,000 of AR
Mm-hmm.
because we just completed our second range training of the year with everybody.
And how much was that order?
It'll be a few thousand at least. Probably like $2,500, something like that.
So how many rounds do they, I know there's standards. How many rounds per year should an officer be shooting?
There's not a set standard of rounds. It's just the amount of range time. Like, we try to save money. Like, we purchased here a few years ago, we purchased airsoft handguns. So even this last range we did, part of it was simulation with airsofts. We did high risk traffic stops and another scenario using. So we just don't let them shoot willy nilly. But there is no like set magic round. You
Okay.
just try to. When I create a lesson plan, I try to calculate how many rounds we're going to do with this certain skill or whatever.
Okay.
And depending on how they're doing, could be more or less.
Mm-hmm.
But you try to avoid them just going out there and being like, for this, we're just going to dump a magazine at a
Yeah.
target.
Yeah.
So every round has a purpose. But
Okay. Okay. That's okay.
So do you think that the 10,000 is still a good estimate?
yeah, I think it's fair. We can keep it within that. I think if we break up, like, put 1,500 or 2,000 into weapons and then 8,000 into ammo.
Okay. So now we're looking at 15,000 over the over are you keeping a total on that, Lori?
So we're gonna do 8,000 for ammo,
Okay.
2,000 for weapons.
And then that's gonna put us another 5,000 over year.
Mhm.
Are you keeping a total of how much over we're going?
Well, I mean, I will go back up and
Okay,
chunky it.
okay.
Yeah, because with those positions that are cut out of there, Lori got me the numbers, roughly about 127,973 less, getting rid of the, is that, you put his whole amount in there, the court security. Did you have a new front office position on our budget, on yours that you did?
Yeah.
Okay,
I didn't add it in
It would have
to
been
mine.
Right.
Okay, you
It
didn't-
was added
because we're
into
going off
yours.
of yours.
Okay,
What-
so you had an open position for an office that was 36,353 or 352 or 360.
Trying to figure out what we're actually saving off of
So-
yours by cutting the positions.
Wait, what positions are we talking about? Because I don't know how I missed it, but under line item 0403 0003 salary field deputies, it's been cut by $217,000.
Okay, which,
What is that?
would you say that again? Wait, one
Under
second.
field deputies salary, the budgeted request is $1,056,000. So there's a difference between of 217,103, and I'm just curious as the thought process behind that, because that's obviously cutting people.
Yeah,
Down.
because what I wound up doing is, like I said, is I started at the back and I worked my way up doing cuts, and then that was the amount that needed still to make about the 5 million mark.
Okay, so that's your projected amount that you
Yeah,
projected
right.
as the
Mhm.
budget officer, you projected
Mhm.
cutting 2 positions, is that what you?
I didn't put positions. I
Oh.
put an amount
Put an
because I
amount, okay.
don't, that's not
Okay.
up to me,
And part of that's the 3% COLA.
3%?
not on my side.
1,886 short.
Right, no, I
Okay.
mean for their side,
Office.
3%.
Okay, as a budget officer, you did that to make this work on your, okay,
Roughly 3.
Yeah, and we're still over a little bit.
okay,
I mean, we're still,
okay.
I think if I'm doing the math correctly, it's roughly 3 positions.
3 or 4.
It might even be 4, but because we're voluntarily cutting the one, really be 4 positions.
When you say voluntarily cutting
It's
them,
just the
can you be
SRO.
specific?
So like the SRO brings in 40,000 a year, so technically we only lose 40,000.
Okay.
Or gain 40,000, but then you lose total for us around 4 positions.
Okay.
Is sort of what she's asking.
4.5.
4.5, yeah.
So then dispatches, 10,000.
I think that even includes the dispatch, losing a dispatcher.
Yeah, it's short 10,917.
Okay. So that was your, okay, so let's go to the next, on the next one. What's the next one we got?
Investigations.
Investigations?
So the money that goes to investigations, some of it goes to, honestly, not very much, but some of it goes to equipment for investigations, but the majority of the money spent in that line item is to process drug evidence for court.
Okay.
So every year, it changes on, it depends on the quantity of drugs that we're sending to the lab.
Okay. And our budget officer looked at the average of what?
That's below the average
Below
quite
the
a bit. Yeah.
I mean, that's one of those lines that we could come to you if we needed because just year to year it can change drastically
Mhm.
if we needed.
Looks like the lowest we've been in the last 3 years is 3,750.
Okay.
As high as almost 5,700 one year.
We could possibly go to 45, maybe 47.
Yeah. That's just one of those things that we have to do. So
Mhm.
45.
47 would make me more comfortable.
What do you think, Sheriff?
Like I said, it's one of those things we could always come to the board if needed. It's required. I mean, there's not much we can do about it, but we can always
Okay.
go on the low end and come before